What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Muddy Waters. And we're returning to the Hard Again album, 1977. And the next track, which I believe is written by Muddy himself because it lists the songwriting credit as Morganfield. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but his real name was McKinley Morganfield. But yes, it's called I Can't Be Satisfied, which sounds like a very blues concept, though maybe slightly less than the idiom that I always think of, which is the world is unfair to me and things aren't going well and people aren't treating me the way they should, but somehow I'm still here, I'm persisting, I'm letting the world know that it has been unreasonable. But yeah, this feels like it's more internal, it's more a psycho-emotional attitude that there's nothing which will satiate or fulfill the sense of longing or indeed mistreatment. So yeah, it's perhaps a little more inward looking than a lot of blues that I am personally familiar with. So yeah, let's give it a listen. This is Muddy Waters. The track is I Can't Be Satisfied, and it's from his 1977 album Hard Again.
I just can't keep from crying. Yeah, I know my little baby. She gon' jump and shout. When I don't train be late, boy, Lord, and I come walking out. When I'm trouble, I'll be all worried mine. Well, you know I can never be satisfied. Just can't keep from crying. Wait, I tell you something, Johnny. You know what, Johnny? Yeah, you good. I want to do it again for me. I just can't keep from crying. Yeah, I know my little baby. She gon' jump and shout. When I don't train me late, boy, look at here, I come walking out. I'll be told, I'll be all good in mine. You know, I just can't be satisfied. I just can't keep.
It really feels like there has to be a lot of improv jamming happening during the recording of this album, because those little bits at the end of the tunes, between the tracks, they really sound like a group of guys having a good time, likely improvising as it hits them, and sort of toying with a song that maybe the idea has been mapped out, but it feels very in the moment, especially again when they start shouting at each other and so on. So, like, lyrically, I don't quite know what to make of it. At first, I was thinking it was maybe about music and about blues. Like, he comes, I think, originally from, like, the Delta blues tradition, but I know he was one of the pioneers of the Chicago blues style. And so then the idea that he was saying, I'm going back down south, I wondered whether, oh, so this is about, like, he's not finding the inspiration he wants, or he feels like he's got to get back to his roots, and so he's going back to the birthplace or the original sort of region in which the blues became a major music style. But then as it goes on, he's talking about, like, where's my woman, or he's looking for his woman. So then I was like, oh, maybe that's what going back down south was, and maybe again she's left him, she's mistreated him, or she's deceived him, which of course would be a classic blues type of narrative motif. But then at the end, it was like, my woman, she jumps and shouts and so on, but then it sounds like he's walking out. So then I was thinking maybe it relates to, like, love making, and even, the woman's given him everything. She's given him enthusiasm and passion and, anything that he desires, but at the end of the day, he just can't be satisfied. So he's going to look for someone else, or he's going to look for another experience that maybe hopefully will satiate him, even if he sounds pessimistic at this point. So over the course of the track, there were like 3 different lyrical directions I thought it might be heading, but I don't know about any of them. So I will just say that his vocals had this, like, spoken word and almost like cheeky and a bit comedic type of delivery. He was sort of speeding through the phrases, and he was saying them, again, like everyday speech, but with a bit of, like, comedy twist. So yeah, really interesting vocal performance, although by the end he really does kind of do a classic blues belting segment. So in a way, like, it ended vocally the way I think of his vocals, but for the first 2/3 of the track, it was almost like, he was going for a bit of a, like, blues theater, or, like, again, sort of like everyday speech colloquial sort of vibe. So that was very interesting. I don't know if that lead melodic instrument was a banjo. I mean, it could just be an acoustic guitar played very, like, forte and charismatically, but it sounded like a banjo rather than an acoustic guitar. So I'm not sure about that. Either way, a cool little tune, one that feels like a bit more like Delta blues, because it's a bit more like, old time instrument, smaller sort of arrangement. There's not like a big epic electric guitar that's, wailing away the whole time. So it felt like I was sort of, at a crossroads down in, like, New Orleans in the countryside or something like that. So in any case, I enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.